All right, on this lesson, we're going to talk about how to solve absolute value equations. Hopefully you remember, but if not, I'll remind you that if I told you to calculate the absolute value of 7, you would tell me it's 7. If I told you to find the absolute value of -7, it is also 7. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. We evaluated absolute values, and it just means drop the negative. The answer to an absolute value expression is always a positive number. So if I know that the absolute value of y plus 2 is equal to 4, there are two possibilities. This answer could have been 4, which gives me 4, or this answer could have been -4, and that will also give me 4. So what you do is you break it into two, and I always have my students draw two little arrows. I get to give you one problem, and you get to solve two equations. So this arrow is going to allow us to remove the absolute value bars. So it's going to become y plus 2 equals 4. So the first equation is normal. And the second equation has the outside number opposite. Because if y plus 2 is -4, the absolute value of -4 is also going to give you 4. Then you just have two simple equations to solve. So I come over here, I solve this, subtract 2 from both sides. That gives me y equals +2. And over here, I also subtract 2 from both sides. You should get different answers, though. If you don't get different answers, you've done something wrong. So you bring down the y, bring down the equals. -4 minus 2 is -6. So we have found the two numbers that we could plug in for y so that the absolute value of y plus 2 would equal 4. Because 2 plus 2 is 4, -6 plus 2 is -4, and the absolute value of -4 is also 4. Okay, so it's just the same thing you've been doing, only we start with one thing and we break it into two equations. Okay, so another example is 3x minus 4 in the absolute value. Oh, no, let's do this one. 2t minus 4 is equal to 8. So the absolute value of 2t minus 4 is equal to 8. I'm on page 102 in your workbook at the kind of in the middle where it says check. So you're going to break this up into two. So you're going to have 2t minus 4 equals 8. And 2t minus 4 equals -8. You're not going to change anything except the number on the outside. You're just going to change the sign. 2t minus 4 stays exactly the same. Okay, so now we're going to solve this. So we're going to add 4 to both sides. So 2t is equal to 12. Divide by 2, divide by 2, t is equal to 6. Over here, we're also going to add 4 to both sides. Bring down the 2t, bring down the equals. -8 plus 4 is -4. Divide both sides by 2. T is equal to -2. Because -4 divided by 2 is -2. So my two possibilities are 6 and -2. Okay. You might have something on the outside. Where's an example for that? They don't give you one, but I know there's one in your homework, so I'm going to give you one. Let's say you have 8 plus the absolute value of x plus 5 is equal to 12, okay? You need to get your absolute value alone first. Don't break this up, okay? You've got to wait and get the absolute value alone before you can break it up into two equations. So I need to move this 8 over. So I need to subtract 8 from both sides. So that gives me the absolute value of x plus 5 is equal to 4. 12 minus 8 is 4. Now that my absolute value is alone, we can break it up into two equations. So the first one is x plus 5 is 4. The other one is x plus 5 equals -4. Subtract 5 from both sides. X equals -1. Subtract 5 from both sides there. x equals -9, because -4 minus 5 is -9. You might have a number on the outside like this. Like you might have 3 times the absolute value of x minus 2 is equal to 18. What do you think what do we have to get rid of? What number do we have to get rid of? 3. How are we going to get rid of it? Divide, exactly, because this is 3 times that, so we get rid of it with division. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so now I have the absolute value of x minus 2 is equal to 6. Now my absolute value is alone, so I have x minus 2 is 6, x minus 2 is -6. Now I solve those equations, add 2 to both sides, x equals 8, plus 2, plus 2, x equals -4. Sometimes you will have ones like this. Absolute value of 5x equals 35. Okay? So you break that up into 2. 5x equals 35. 5x equals -35. So when you go to solve this, you divide by 5, and you get x equals 7. And when you come over here and divide by 5, you get x equals -7. So sometimes your answer will be the same number, just with different signs. Like you might get 2 and -2, or 7 and -7. Usually you'll get different answers. Also, I didn't give you any examples like this. They all worked out nice to be integers, but it's very common to get one integer like 4 and then 2/3. Like you might get a fraction. A lot of times, especially when the inside is like this, when the inside is a 2-step equation, a lot of times one answer will give you an integer like 5, but the other one will give you like 7/3 or something like that. So don't panic if you get them wrong. On the answer sheet today, make sure you put your fractions in as improper fractions. Like if you have 7 divided by 3, put it in as 7/3. Okay, one more example to talk about. This is on the bottom of page 102 in your workbook. 3x minus 4 is equal to -1. So the absolute value of 3x minus 4 is equal to -1. Everybody look at that. Does anybody see anything interesting there? When I was first teaching you absolute value, I said the absolute value of a number is always what? Positive. So can the absolute value of 3x minus 4 equal a -1? Nope. So this is no solution. Okay? But you won't notice it if you don't think about it. Like when you go to solve it, you're like, okay, this is an absolute value problem. I'm going to do 3x minus 4 is equal to -1, and 3x minus 4 is equal to, and you're going to solve it perfectly. You're not going to hit anything weird. You're going to get 2 numbers that look like they work. Okay? It's not like when we did no solution and you got like 7 equals 2. You have to notice it here. When you get your absolute value alone, and most of your equations today, the absolute value is already alone, if it equals a negative number, you're going to say no solution. On your homework, I'm getting quicker at figuring out how to make answer sheets so it is easy for you guys to put your answers in. Like this will say x equals and have a box, or x equals and have a box. Because all of these problems could have 2 answers, okay? If you have one like this that says no solution, type in no and type in solution. No in the first box, solution in the second box. Because if on all the ones that were no solution, I only had 1 box, you would know that that's a no solution problem, right? So that's how we're getting around it. All of your questions today have x equals and x equals. And so if it's no solution, you write no solution in the 2 boxes. Okay?